Our next speaker is also speaking from a communication menu, question number 7. The timing for the speech is 5 to 7 minutes. The title of his speech is Arcade Selection Theory. Let's welcome our next speaker, Yao Chung-Hu.
So it was always interest for me that how human behaves in the history scale, but for a larger scale, in terms of revolution scale, to understand human behavior is through genes. So today I'd like to talk about this reproductive theory. It's called R/K theory. Before I get into that, I want to talk more about the basic about how genes works actually. So why do I have an eyebrow? Actually, 2 eyebrows if I shave. So. Why do I have 2 eyebrows? Well, it's not because eyebrows kindness or for its welfare or nothing of that. It's a selfish little thing on my forehead. And maybe one day he said to my ancestors, okay, Yao's ancestor, I'll keep sweat out of your eyes so you can do something for me in return. So my answer is, and eyebrow struck deal, so it said, okay, I will keep your sweat out of your eye, and you'll do better hunting, and seduce ladies, and have sex, and produce more eyebrows. So it may sound crazy, but it is how it works. We are, in the revolutionary term, we are a gene vessel for our body parts to produce body parts. But not only body parts reproduce, there's also behaviors reproduce. So let's get into it. So for our strategy, actually for decades, these 2 kinds of strategy are recognized by biologists, and there are 2 very different strategies in our ecosystem and in our species. For our strategy is an adaptation to excessive resources, where you have almost unlimited resources, and once you have unlimited resource, you tend to produce as much offspring as humanly or animally possible. And take it like rabbits, like big bad rabbits, right? But for K strategy is very different kind of strategy. It's an adaptation to a resource scarce environment. So they tend to produce less offsprings and invest more time in their offsprings. So take rabbits for example. Rabbits in a field of grass, they don't have to compete. If you want to eat a grass that another rabbit still is eating, just step away and dig in, right? You don't have to compete. The competition means between your own species serves no purpose. And this also prompts to promiscuity, because you have all the resources you want, so you can produce a lot of offsprings. And because of that, you tend to have low investment in single parenting or non-parenting at all. One more example is like frog. Frogs sit on 12 million of eggs, and in fact, actually, if they got hungry, just grab and eat it. And they just use, like my first-person shooter strategy, fray and pray, and cross your fingers, and hope it works. So, and they also, because of they have to produce a lot of offspring, they have early sexual maturity and activity. Because it is a risky environment, you get killed a lot. Like sea turtles, they're actually about 98% of them never make it to adulthood. So they have to become sexually mature very soon and have activity soon. And they also have very low in-group loyalty. Reason for that, like wolves hunts rabbits, right? So if a wolf is hunting your rabbit friends, and oh, my friend's hunted by rabbits, said the rabbits, and is rushing to help. And you got one less rabbit, right? So that is taking the tendency out of the gene equation. So they have very low in-group loyalty. On the other hand, K strategy, they prone competition. They are free market person and free market person or animals. So because they are scarce resource, you have to compete for resource, you have to work together to hunt, and only the best survives. And they have delayed and monogamous sexuality because you invest so much on your offsprings. You actually want to make sure that your offspring are yours. Like men want to make sure their sons or daughters are theirs, but I guess women always know their offspring are theirs. And they have very high investments in parenting. Reason for that is, think of like rabbit. There's only 2 rules for rabbit. Mommy rabbit tells the bunny said, there's only 2 rules. When you see something that's green, eat it. And when you see something that's huge and moving, run! And for wolves, that's much more complicated because resource scarce, you have to store it, you have to catch it, you have to hunt it, so you have to train their pups to learn how to hunt because it's actually a teamwork. You see, there are some ambush and flank. The flank rabbits are to make them into the prey. High investment, and they are late sexual maturity and activities because they tend to live longer. They invest more time in learning and reserving resources, and they have very high in-group loyalty. Reason for that, if you don't work together, you just can't work with others, and you just get killed by the others. The reason I am talking about this because this R versus K strategy actually occurs in human society. Let's say there's a human tribe in the Amazon jungle. Right? There's tons of resource, a lot of animals hunts. You never have to worry about any scarce resource. So this creates mass orgy or prosperity like environments where you got babies, and in the end, there's not more that resource to sustain that population. So we have got a lot of good hunters and no prey to hunt. So they start to hunt each other. And there's some people that don't want to fight. Oh no, I don't do the fighting thing. Go on, go speak. And they go into the much colder and resource scarce environment, and they sit down there and they stop hunting. They start managing livestock, farming, and reserve the resources and learning how to live as a group. And maybe someday they come back as a, and this is where K strategy kicks in. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Yamcha. Please take 1 minute to evaluate your